100% hockey leaning into the Minnesota Wild with the Foligno brothers joining each other, playing on the same team for the first time. It's Millard and Shannon with you. That was fun to watch last night off our conversation with the boys.
It was. It truly was fascinating to see them have so much fun. Although I got to tell you, I'm a little miffed at John Hines. I'm a little miffed. Doesn't he understand storylines? Doesn't he understand, a feel-good situation? I mean, that's when the guys want to be able to go and do the opening face-off. I mean, it should have been Trenin, Foligno, and Foligno on the opening face-off. And so when I looked up and I saw Matt Boldy out there, I'm saying, did John Hines not get the memo? You got to have the feel-good moment.
But the boys did play together. Yes,
they played with Trenin. It wasn't Michael McCarron. I think they were hoping for Michael McCarron. But then it was Trenin and Marcus scored. It was I don't know. Did you see the in-room video at the end of the game where
yes,
Marcus has the opportunity to give the hat away, and he says, "I'm giving it to my brother." Nah, just kidding.
It was awesome.
And then gave it to Jeff Petrie, who was coming back to Florida and assisted on the Marcus Foligno goal. So it was. They do have. I did not realize. I knew Nick was a gregarious guy, but Marcus has the great sense of humor as well.
I still can't believe that they got up and switched seats right before our conversation because Nick looked small.
I wonder if they'll do that. We have to keep a monitor on that. We have to, if they do that on the bench too, let's change seats. Because I don't know if you know this, but when Evander Kane and Corey Perry played together in Edmonton, they used to fight and jockey for one position close to the visiting bench, as close to the visiting bench as possible in the first and third period, so they could yell at the other team.
So I'm giving that one to Corey Perry.
Well, Evander would race him to the spot. He would race him. But anyway, so I wonder if Marcus. I'm going to check that if Marcus and Nick end up jockeying their positions on the bench based on who they're sitting beside.
You're the only one to say all year, Matt Boldy shouldn't be playing there.
No, Matt. I was
the guy's an outstanding Matt player and Olympic champion. You're sitting there going, get him off the ice.
Matt Boldy's had a hell of a year. I mean, when you think about it, he's going to be a 40-goal scorer.
He's my favorite Minnesota Wild. Has been for a few years.
It is?
Yeah.
It is? Wait till we tell Marcus and Nick.
Yeah, well, Nick can't complain because he's new. Marcus.
What about Marc-Andre Fleury?
Nope. Matt Boldy.
What about Faber?
Nope. I feel like I was ahead of the curve on the Boldy thing.
Yeah, you know who you've just tweaked me. You know who mine is? Matt Zuccarello.
Oh,
because he's a straw that stirs the drink guy. The record when he's in the lineup is fantastic. He's a hell of a player.
I thought maybe you go back to the Minnesota North Stars.
Well, that's a different story. And we only have an hour.
Big win by Pittsburgh, too, last night. There was implicated games with playoff implications all over the place, but that was huge.
It was when you consider that City left the game after injuring himself in the first period. He tried to play in the second, really only played about 6.5 minutes and then had to leave.
Have you heard anything there?
I haven't, and I'm not going to diagnose anything other than I don't think it's his knee. So
that's positive, but it's a false second place in the division because they're only 2 points up on a playoff spot. But still, it's got to make you feel good getting back to that spot.
Well, and when you look at what's going on in the East, like for instance, last night, the 7:00 games Eastern time were spectacular. I mean, that Montreal Columbus game was so much fun to watch. The Ottawa game was great. This was another night on a Thursday night with 13 games that there were actually too many games to watch and enjoy. I mean, that Minnesota Tampa game Minnesota Florida game was really, really fun.
That was going to overtime. Well, first I thought Minnesota had it won.
Yeah.
And then thought it was going to overtime then.
And then 3.8 seconds to go, or whatever it was, 4.4. For Tarasov to give up that juicy rebound, and next thing you know, the puck's in the net. It's there's so many things going on right now. How about Anaheim? 1 second to go in overtime, and Michael Granlund gets a hat trick.
That's what they do. Like you think that they're going to overtime, or you think they've lost a game, and they find a way to pull it out. It's incredible how many points they've secured late in games this year, just in the last 2 weeks. They did it against Buffalo last week.
No, you're right. You're right. And then there's the Edmonton-Vegas game that was pretty darn good too, Daren.
There's some feistiness in that game, a bit of table setting for a potential first-round matchup. Edmonton wins that game in overtime. Vegas had a power play in the 3-on-3 session, which was a 4-on-3, and it couldn't convert. And the two captains, Connor McDavid, good. Mark Stone was.
Can I just say something about Mark Stone?
Mark Stone.
I know he won't. Like, Mark Stone should be in the discussion for the Selke every year.
Yeah. But he's a winger.
The play he made on his second goal was as pure as you're going to see. And everybody, the guys on ESPN were talking about it. It's been part of the discussion about Mark Stone every year about, his ability to use his stick. It was an amazing play. How to steal the puck. And then the move around Ingram, I think
the double deke.
Well, and not only that, I'd love to know how long his stick is. I think there are maximums to sticks, and he's certainly not over the 65 inches. But that was an impressive move.
His two celebrations. He's known as expressive Mark Stone, but his two celebrations. The first one was a little skip after he scored the first goal, like almost Gretzky-ish. Running on ice, or Mike Bossy running on ice.
Davey Keon for those people older.
Then people that old don't listen to podcasts.
That's not true. Oh no!
And the second one, just slapping the stick flat in the ice.
Well,
fantastic.
That part of his game is contagious, don't you think?
Oh yeah,
it inspires a lot of people.
Do you know who told him to use the long stick?
Erik Karlsson.
Kelly McCrimmon. Early in his junior career, Kelly was his coach.
Wow.
Yeah. Said, go to a long stick. And he tried it out, and he had some pretty good success early on with it and stuck with it. But he didn't initially use that long pole vault.
The good thing about last night for a national audience in the United States was with that game is the stars were stars.
Yes.
Connor McDavid was great. Mark Stone was great.
Then there was a kerfuffle. There's a kerfuffle, and the linesmen are controlling the two benches. The referees are at the timekeeper's box talking it through, and the two captains are standing there waiting for the officials to explain the fallout. And it's Connor and Mark, and I don't know whether they're talking about the game or whether they're talking about what happened in Italy. Because they get to know each other really well over there.
Yeah, and that's those storylines. What happened in Italy, playing for Canada or playing for the United States or playing for any team. Quite honestly, like I went to the Ranger Leaf game the other night. And watched William Nylander and Mika Zibanejad have a conversation. First of all, I wanted to make sure what language was it in.
Swedish.
You don't know.
Well, nobody then nobody can eavesdrop.
Other than Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So,
well, he'd be fine with that, though. He'd probably be involved in it.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Chevy coming up.
Yeah, I feel bad. We've been pestering Kevin to come on. for a couple of weeks, and he's been reluctant because I think he's been too busy. But the team has been playing really well, played very well last night, but couldn't beat the Colorado Avalanche. And I actually, after the game, I wonder if we should postpone it. I wonder if we should say, hey, listen, because nobody's more passionate about his hockey club than Kevin Cheveldayoff.
And they got a call go against them.
Yeah, and I thought the league made the correct call. I really did. I thought the puck hit McKinnon's stick before McKinnon's stick hit Hellebuck's glove.
So they're 5 points out right now with 10 games to go. I had them having to go.
And they had a chance. They had a chance because Nashville lost last night too. So right.
I had them having to go something like 10-2 with 12 games to go. They needed 20 points in that area to get to 90 to give yourself a chance. And it who knows? It may bump above that number. It's mathematically they're still there, but realistically, it's not going to happen because they have to jump over 3 teams to get there.
And this home and home with Colorado is a tough one.
You needed that front half.
Yes, you did. Yeah. So they live to fight another day. As I've told Kelly Moore, your old pal Kelly Moore on CGOB all week, it's the Jets playing these games is death by 1,000 cuts because they really are playing well. They are doing things now that they haven't done a lot of the season, but it's too little, too late. And it's the old Dumb and Dumber line. There's still a chance.
That's what you should have named this podcast.
I tried to.
Yeah. Well, it would have been fine because my name's first. My name's first, and so I would have been dumb, but you would have been dumber.
I don't need to hear that from you. I hear that every day from somebody else in this house.
Chevy coming up, the general manager of the Winnipeg Jets, when we continue on 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.
NHL TV is now on DAZN. Hockey lives here.
Here we go.
Watch every game from every team. The best players in the world. And the coldest plays on ice. Watch up to 4 games at once for the ultimate NHL experience. Sign up now at DAZN.
As promised, here is the general manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff, on 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon. So you're mathematically still there. Is that the way you're looking at it?
In this game, obviously, you set out to win each and every game, and obviously, we're not in a position that's exciting for us. But we need to take care of our own business on a nightly basis, and that's all you can control. So this game is very unpredictable, and you wake up and get a chance to keep fighting the fight today.
You're 8-4-4 since the Olympic break ended, but you only won 2 games in December. Which team are you?
Thanks for reminding me.
No, I know, but sorry. But which team are you, Kevin, do you think?
We only won 1 game or something like that in February, too. We only played a couple of games.
Yeah, we only had played 4. That's right.
Oh, okay. Well, you love statistics. Statistics can be used each and every way. It's, again, you have to look at circumstances surrounding any time you're playing a game on a nightly basis. It's different on a regular basis, and so it is what it is. You can look back retrospectively, but sometimes it does some good, sometimes it doesn't do any good.
We watch your team and we have opinions, but what have you liked about your group and where have you been effective since the Olympics?
Well, again, we got Neil Pionk back. I think Elias Solomonson came into the lineup and took a yeoman's load of ice time. So obviously, it's great to see a young player come in and take advantage, of his opportunity. It's hard to sit here right now and to kind of look at. Different things. Again, you're in the moment. You're really just focused on winning the next game here is really all you are. There'll be plenty of time if we don't make it to sit back and look at different things, moral victories, different things like that. But, really you're focused on that next game in hand.
Without delving too deep into individuals, Mark Scheifele's had his best year ever. As a Jet. He seems to be getting, like fine wine, better with age.
Yeah.
Is there an explanation for that?
Again, we've been talking about how, just legendary his training regimes are, his love of the game, his thirst for trying to find that next thing that helps him get better. It's not shocking that he's continuing to try to push. He's an elite athlete, takes care of himself on and off the ice, and just cares so deeply about himself and the game and treats it with the utmost respect. So really happy for him because a lot of guys could have just folded up their tent and not making the Olympic team, which I think was a travesty. And but he's chosen just to keep pushing to try to help this team.
What did you make of the fight the other night?
It's interesting. We were joking about it, and they said, "Oh, that's got to be his first Gordie Howe hat trick," and actually, it was his fourth. And I think that says a lot about him. Again, I went to him after the game, grabbed his hands. I wanted to check to make sure that the hands weren't damaged because obviously that's what he gets paid for. But when a player that he cares so deeply about, like Kyle Connor, got injured. Or not injured, got hit, and he just jumped to it. Again, those type of things, kind of run deep in our room. They're a close group. I feel for them that we're not, in the situation we were last year, and but I'm hopeful that we can continue to scratch and claw, as we move forward here. But it's just not shocking that he would stick up for a teammate like that and like what he did.
I have to check the numbers, but to both of you, 4 Gordie Howe hat trick seems high.
That's what I didn't check it. Someone said to me that's what he's got, but
but it's good on him. I believe that part, but 4 sounds like a lot compared to around the league.
For sure. I don't. Again, I guess I don't want to be credited with false information, but that's what someone told me. So I'm going to go with it until someone proves me wrong.
He'd be among the leaders with 4.
It's even more impressive when you consider Gordie only had 2.
Yeah.
So,
what was your trade deadline like in the push-pull dilemma, coming off a President's Trophy win and then trying to get back into the race, but also being realistic?
Hated it. Hated our trade deadline. Worst feeling in the world when you're not talking about adding and not talking about trying to, push for the playoffs. And we had to make some tough decisions, obviously with opportunities that were presented in front of us, and we made them, but that's part of the job.
So was that a decision that was that something that was done over the Olympic break, that decision to be a seller rather than being as aggressive as you've been for the last 3 or 4 years?
You can't really make those decisions without opportunity to make those decisions. So everyone keeps talking, like you choose to do different things in this game. You make decisions when opportunities are presented in front of you. Opportunity was presented in front of us, and we made a decision.
What do you make of Eric Comrie's run?
Well, again, I think Eric is a really beloved person, within the room, and he competes each and every night for us, whether you're going to win or whether you're going to lose, or whether he's won or lost. That's never changed. So you're happy for a guy like that, because it's a tough position. I think, being a backup goaltender, certainly being a backup goaltender to a Connor Hellebuck who likes to push the envelope and play a lot of games. Obviously Connor got hurt this year, and Eric had a chance to play a few more games, but certainly down the stretch here, when he's been called upon, he's been he's been there for us, and we're going to need him down the stretch here again. We've got, I think, 10 games left here, and some tough situations travel wise, game wise, and stuff like that. So we're going to need him to be large, coming up again.
What did you make of the white cage?
Hey, whatever it takes, it's, I don't profess to know, goaltenders. I don't profess to know superstitions. I don't profess to know, those kind of things. But if the change works, go with it.
There does. You talk about Eric. There is a psyche to be a backup goaltender, isn't there?
Yeah, it's not an easy job. Again, you have to prepare each and every game. Like, just because you're not playing, you're preparing each and every game to come in, and if you do have to come in, it's probably under even harsher circumstances. So the mental mindset of a backup goaltender is unique. But I think the people and the players that can master that can have a wonderful career.
And the fact that he's a multiple-time Jet speaks to what you see in his personality. Is that fair?
Yeah, again, when we drafted him, you could just tell how much he loved the game, and how much he wanted to be a National Hockey League player. And then obviously over the course of times, things ebb and flow. But the opportunities that we had to, whether it was reacquire him or re-sign him, or it's always been a mutual thing, and that's pretty special, because again, Winnipeg takes its lumps for a lot of things that are out of their control. But when you have players that openly talk about the love of the city and the love of the people and the love of the teammates, the haters can't even hate on that.
Take a quick break. We'll come back with more with the general manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff, joining 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.
Car shopping should be exciting, not exhausting. That's where Car Gurus comes in. They have advanced search tools, unbiased deal ratings, and price history, so you know a great deal when you see one. It's no wonder that Car Gurus is the #1 rated car shopping app in Canada. When you're car shopping on your phone, it shouldn't be a maze. You need to see all the information. With the Car Gurus app, you can. Powerful search tools that you see deal ratings, price history, and dealer reviews on listings all in one place. And you can turn on real-time price drop alerts so you never miss a great deal. Car Gurus connects you with trusted dealerships when you're ready, ensuring a transparent, hassle-free buying process. Buy your next car today at cargurus.ca. Make sure your deal is the best deal. That's cargurus.ca. cargurus.ca.
We all love the city. What's your favorite part about Winnipeg, Manitoba?
Obviously, I get to experience the summers here as well. Live here year round. It's just an awesome city. But hands down, bar none, it's the people. You can't beat the people of Winnipeg, how much they care deeply about the Jets, but just how much they care deeply about, their city and just the pride that's in it. And it's infectious, and it's kind of what drives you each and every day. I make the joke about going to my coffee shop every morning, but it's true. It's, these people, they work hard. They're honest people, and that's all they want out of you, is an honest day's work on the ice.
What kind of
you don't screw with Manitobans, do you?
No.
Talking about
No, you don't. You don't. But you want someone to have your back. When you're in a fight, they're the good people to have with you.
And really, what's happened in your organization that has been extended to your room and to your people. I mean, the thing that keeps coming up is culture and family all the time, Kevin. Where's that start?
Yeah, Mark Chipman. He's been in this game for 30 years now. Got in the game because essentially the team was lost and wanted to provide something to the community that was leaving, and that bared the Manitoba Moose into existence and built a building, paved the way for the National Hockey League to come back, but. Even more so, again, it's more than the hockey. I think, a lot of teams and a lot of places, it's just a sports team. Here in Winnipeg, it enables the city to continue to grow. What True North Sports and Entertainment has done to downtown Winnipeg, goes far beyond the wins and the losses. They're building buildings. They're trying to help the homeless population. They're trying to help get drugs and those things off the street. Each and every night we might win, we might lose, but the work that True North is doing because of its existence with the Winnipeg Jets in trying to help build the city of Winnipeg is going to endure long after that.
Does that mean that you find a special type of player that wants to be a Jet? Is that part of between now and the draft, when you're talking to kids, when you're talking to and considering free agents, there's a certain character in a player that becomes a Jet? Well,
again, I think, you have to keep an open mind, and you hope that the players keep an open mind. And we've kind of been very fortunate that, once we get a player here, once we get a player and their family here, in most cases, they love it. I think they embrace the opportunity to raise a family if they have one in a community that is very tight, is very close knit, within a team that's very tight, very close knit. But again, it's not for everybody, and that's life. And we've been fortunate to keep pushing the rock up the hill here, and if we can make the playoffs here, I think we can. We have a potential to make some noise. If we don't, we got to get back to the grindstone and find a way to get ourselves back in.
So, do you do the numbers on the final 10 and what you have to go?
We got one game, and that's the next game in hand. That's all you really can control. Like it's. Even last night, 3-2 controversial goal is the game winner. Coach's challenge, whatever. It is what it is. Nashville loses, a couple other teams win. We didn't win, so we got to win the next game. That's all we control.
The controversial goal brings up that the two words that I think makes the whole league shudder, and that's video review.
Careful what we asked for. We asked for it. We asked to put it in. So now we get we judge it each and every night. You can't have it both ways. Again, as angry or whatever as I might be about the call last night, like I certainly understand the dilemma that's involved with it, and whenever there's judgment involved, it's never going to be 100%. And find me something 100% in this game, and it is what it is. And I think that's the hardest part. Again, it can go against you, and you can cry about it, but guess what? No one cares. You got to get up and just go at it again.
Were you part of the breakout group with video review?
Well, we all were. I think again, when you go into breakout groups, at the GM meetings, the purpose of it is to get into a smaller room and feel free to talk openly about things, as opposed to the larger room where there's 32 general managers, 15 people from front office, another 15 or 20 people that are staff of the NHL. So the small groups are at the GM meetings are there so that you can have some really candid conversations. And quite honestly, they should remain candid. And anybody who starts to bleed the candidness out of any GM meetings or those kind of things, that's why people don't talk. So, the sanctity of those things are important.
The reason I ask is, were you one of those guys that's the room's 50-50, that the 50 and half the group said that's a goal and the other half said it wasn't?
So the interesting thing is you could be 50-50 on the one call and you might be on the other side of the 50-50 on the other call. Like it is your interpretation, and John, your interpretation, and Daren, your interpretation. I'm sure you guys probably even have those conversations overlooking at these things themselves, and you guys might disagree. So that, I think that's the, that is the tough part of it. And it is a job that, is very difficult to do.
You have run this franchise since its inception, and there's always the shadow of Jets 1.0, which was the motivation to get the team back. Shouldn't overlook that. But have you now exited that stage, 15th season?
Yeah, so it's interesting, in 2016, we had the outdoor game. We really celebrated Jets 1.0 and had them come back, play an alumni game. And I think it was awesome because it gave us a jumping on point to bring those people into our alumni and really celebrate them. And it's important because I think alumni are important for every team, because I think the current players see those veteran players of years ago, and they know that they're never going to be forgotten. I think the current players understand that, once I play for a Jet, I'm always a Jet. And so we have the Heritage game coming up next year. And I think that, the alumni game will be, that we're going to attach to it, is going to be a great celebration of those players that, came here, during the time of what, has become Jets 2.0. So, it'll be fun to see, those guys. I think everybody's, anxious to see some of those players. Certainly, hopeful to see Buff put on some antics that he has in the past. And again, it's special for this community to be able to embrace those guys and say thank you.
What does a manager do after the deadline and before the playoffs start?
Well, it's been really, different managers, I think, do different things. For me, it's been spent with a lot of time in the amateur rinks, looking at the different various draft potential possibilities. So you guys have been trying to get me on here for the last couple of weeks, but it's been, literally planes, trains, and automobiles. Went to Europe during the Olympic break to catch stuff there, and bouncing around on the different trips here. So, there's always something to do, and it's more future forward looking, I think, in when it comes to post deadline.
How important is it to stay with the big club, though?
Again, you're around it as much as you can. We've got a trip coming up here. I think every off day I've got a game in junior. Every other day you're flying back to be with the team.
Oh, so you flip out?
Yeah.
In between big club games.
Yeah. That's what I try to do, as long as the schedule tries to permit it. Yeah.
That can't be easy travel, given some of the markets that you're going to.
No, but you can get creative. Lots of early morning flights and those kind of things. But again, beats the alternative.
So how are you doing? Seriously, you're a bit lower key than I normally hear you.
Well, again, it's you live and you breathe this game on a regular basis. Again, from a professional standpoint, it's difficult. From a personal standpoint, couldn't be higher than I am in the world. I'm a new grandfather. My daughter had a baby girl, 6 months old. It's the best thing in the world. So, those things put things into perspective, and you appreciate it. But when you have an obligation to a team, that the whole city depends on, it's something that you take seriously.
Well, and last night was you guys went toe-to-toe with the team that arguably has the best record in the National Hockey League. And you had a lapse in the third period when they had power plays.
Well, they had a 5-on-3, and we killed off the first one, and obviously the second one didn't go. The third goal, obviously, we talked about on the challenge side of it. Mark Scheifele, tried to put the team on his back and scored 2 goals there yesterday. But again, we can sit back and look back at it like we didn't look at it like we're playing the best team in the National Hockey League. We looked at it, we need to win that game tonight, and guess what? We play them on the next game here. So we're heading into Colorado today and play them tomorrow, and fully expect to win. We had a few injuries last night, so we're going to make some recalls here from the Moose, but fully expect to win. Doesn't matter who you're playing. Again, that's the expectation.
We weren't going to talk about many players. The one guy that's been a positive is Brad Lambert's finally, and this is me, not you, has finally seemed to have understood what it's like to be an NHL player.
Well, again, I think it takes time for young players to understand various aspects of the game. It's not just all about talent. It's not just all about getting there as fast as you can. Again, it's about the opportunity to stay and contribute. Once your chance is there.
What does this year do to impact next season in how you look at it? Is it just the blip, or is it a different phase in the organization?
Yeah, again, it's probably too all-encompassing of an answer to sit here right now while we're still, trying to forge forward here.
Fair. It goes back to the trade deadline and how you handle that or approach that. But you talked about Mark Scheifele and Connor Hellebuyck. Those 2 signings continue to pay dividends. How important were those at the time, and are they more important even now?
Well, obviously, those players, helped you chart a path for where you were going to go at that point in time. Again, anytime you're faced with players like that mean so much to an organization facing pending unrestricted free agency, you have decisions to make, and they have decisions to make as well. And again, you're just you do what you can, and those we're very fortunate that we were able to chart the path that we did, that helped lead us to a President's Trophy last year, and again, we don't do it without those players, but it's bigger than that. I think it goes back to 17-18 when we felt we had the chance to really make some noise, and we had probably we had a very deep team of veteran players and players we drafted and players that were coming of age at that point in time. In an organization, you want things to happen now, and whether it's young players or different things like that, but you have to live in the moment, and when you have an opportunity, you need to seize that moment, and again, we're fortunate they made that choice, but there was other choices other players had as well that did go our way, and then obviously last year's free agency didn't go our way, so you deal with it.
How would you define what Jonathan Toews has done this season?
Well, anything that he has done has been nothing short of remarkable. When you go through what he went through from a health standpoint in any aspect of your life, that's one thing. But then to get back to the level to play professional hockey, that's, not many people can even tell you what that feels like, because not many people get to play professional hockey. So, again, it's just a testament to the person, testament to the athlete, to the commitment, that he had to himself. And again, you knew going into this that he wasn't the Jonathan Toews of 2010, 13, and 15 when they're winning the cups, but he certainly has brought a tremendous element to the organization.
Well, this is just me, but his energy seems to be so much better now than it was before Christmas. He's got a jump in his step.
Yeah, I think if you really look at it, he's benefited from several different breaks. I think, again, the schedule, the unfortunate side of it, one thing we can't really measure is, how a compressed schedule has affected a player like him just coming back. If it was under normal circumstances where you have maybe 2 or 3 days off between, blocks of games or different blocks of games, how that would help. We don't have that. So, again, it is what it is. So, but when we've had breaks, whether it was Christmas or whether it was the Olympic, break or several different breaks that we had, he has, found a way. But again, he's an elite athlete. It's not shocking.
Will he be back?
That's a question, that obviously we'll address and he'll address, at the appropriate time.
Have you seen an impact on a player or an area of your hockey club from Jonathan Toews?
Face-offs, I can tell you that. 60%,
That's unbelievable. And it's been like that all year, right?
Yeah. Again, there has been a couple of games where you can attribute a goal late in a period or, whatever, late in a game, to simply him winning the draw and getting it back to, I remember a couple of times to Scheifele and Scheifele scoring. So, again, it's it can be a weapon and he's been able to use it a few times.
When you talk about him and you think about character, then you can't help but not think about what Adam Lowry does. Kevin, he did an interview last night on television that was I think maybe the best interview by a player all season long. I know he's a coach's son, but man, oh man, there was an attentiveness, an understanding of the interviewer, of everything going around. This guy is an amazing person. He really is.
I haven't seen it, so
I sent a note to the people saying how good it was. It was just spectacular.
Yeah, it probably behooves me to take a look at that, but it's not shocking for me because that's been Adam since the day, kind of we drafted him. And I feel for him this year because, he played last year through a lot of injury. Obviously the hip was getting worse. And, he made the decision collectively. We made the decision to get it done, knowing that he would, miss a portion of the season. And for a big man like that to jump into the middle of the season without training camp and out training in the summer, it took him a while to get to the point he has. So all these different things I think are contributing factors, but one thing that has never waned is again his leadership, Josh Morrissey and Mark Scheifele's support and leadership with him. Whatever happens in these next 10 games, whatever our fate is going to be, one thing I'm rock solid on is just, that group and that leadership that, that is there. And, if we're not successful to take a stab at the Sweet 16 after the April games are done, then, we'll find a way to push forward and do it again.
Have you seen a chip on the shoulder of Kyle Connor since he's been back?
Kyle Connor might be the quietest superstar in the National Hockey League. And this guy here, it's a funny story. And again, a lot of guys, do different things and that, but he just goes about his business each and every day, and does the same thing and goes out there and scores goals. And doesn't do the interviews, doesn't, take the limelight, but just goes out there and scores goals. And, it's interesting. But I don't know if there's a chip on his shoulder. Again, he's an Olympian. He's a gold medal winner. You can't take that away. There's no chip in there. He's but one thing is for sure, he wanted to come back and start contributing to the Winnipeg Jets as soon as he possibly could.
John, finish it up, and then I got a couple of fun ones for Chevy.
No, you go ahead. Kevin's got to smile before this is over.
Fun Chevy. I don't know if you're gonna. Good luck, guys.
All right. Are you grandpa? Are you papa?
Papa.
What are you going to be?
Papa Chev.
Papa Chev?
Yeah.
And
That wasn't my, that was what was deemed me. So it wasn't.
Oh, was it? You didn't have a choice on that one?
Yeah. Papa Chef.
All right. Papa Chef is perfect. And do you feel like a grandpa?
No, you know what? Yeah, sure. I guess I don't know what a grandpa's supposed to feel like, but
we all feel like we're young still.
You know what? It's the best in the world, honestly. Like people worry about getting old. I embrace getting old because I lost my dad at 57 years old, and again, he never saw my grandkids, so I've got it on him.
So, what's the best part about being a grandpa?
Yeah,
what do you look forward to?
Yeah, again, it's great to see, the calls in the morning to, the good morning calls and stuff like that. And my daughter does a great job of that. Thank goodness for FaceTime and stuff like that, that you can, be a part of it. Again, it's just special, just to see the innocence of a young child like that and see the changes on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. It just, I think it really just underscores, everything else in this world is the daily noise, and you get to, to see the beauty of life.
It puts the grind in perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It makes you want to grind more, knowing you got another mouth to feed too.
Hold on. You're paying for your grandkids?
They never, ever get off scholarship. Come on.
Scholarship.
Oh, that's the worst news I've got all day. Right there. All right. I'll meet you at the Yellow Dog this summer for a beer, okay?
Awesome. Looking forward to it. That put a smile on my face.
There you go.
Thanks, Papa Chef. Appreciate it. We'll be back with more 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.
With the NHL app, you can listen to every NHL game right from your phone. And with home and away broadcast feeds, you choose your way to listen.
And he scores!
Whether you're at work, at the gym, or stuck in traffic, the NHL app puts you right in the action all season long. Every team, every game, everywhere you go. Download the NHL app and never miss a moment.
You've known Chevy a long time. I went to high school with Chevy. He's normally he's always a positive guy. And it was good to hear him smile or see him smile and have some fun at the end. But he's wearing this right now.
I kind of put him in a bad mood with all my numbers early on.
That didn't help.
No,
and I try and get into the conversation, generate a little bit of flow to it, and you just hammered him.
But you had to. Because that's the.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you did. So I want to put this in perspective, because they're playing pretty well right now, as I said in the opening. But in the months of November and December, okay, just the months of November and December, they had 18 points. Okay, remember 18 points over that same period of time. Colorado had 49. Over that same period of time, Dallas had 43. Over that same period of time, Minnesota had 42. And the Jets had 18. How could you stay competitive? I was going to use those numbers with Kevin, and then after my first question, I elected not to.
Would have been a short conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have been stuck out at that at the halfway tree.
Halfway tree, yeah. I was thinking about that the other day. The halfway tree. I'll send you another picture of it.
No, don't.
I've got 1,000. The Jets are interesting, because parity this year has been extraordinary in the National Hockey League. The Stanley Cup champion and the President's Trophy winner are both going to miss the Stanley Cup playoffs. Mm-hmm. So in the case of Florida and Winnipeg, do you just take a step back and go, that just wasn't our year and run it back? Or how much do you think the two teams need adjusting?
Well, Florida, I think Florida's answer is a little simpler because they did the whole season without Sasha Barkov. So you missed your team captain the whole season. They do have to figure out in Florida what to do with goaltending. That's going to be the major issue, whether they're going to be able to re-sign Sergei Bobrovsky, and do they believe that Daniel Tarasov is the answer? I don't think he is, but that's something for Bill Zito and his gang to do. So I think it's more straightforward in Florida. Winnipeg's an interesting one because I think you can get fooled into thinking that everything's okay, that it's status quo and everything's okay. They do have some young guys now contributing. Salamonson, Kevin's right. Salamonson's been a bright light this season, filling
He's
in on
not
the
shy.
Brad Lambert has showed glimpses since he's been given a bigger role, has played well.
Takes the puck hard to the net.
And he didn't all the time, Daren, and he does now. And he's using his speed.
Yeah,
so
that message got through.
Yeah, so those are positives, but I still think that they need to do I think they need to be able to almost contradict what they have tried to do the last few years. And, they have this core of guys that believe in Winnipeg, stay in Winnipeg, have signed long-term in Winnipeg. I think that they need to find a way to get some more assets elsewhere by changing one or two of those guys. And more probably on the blue line than anywhere else. But that's me, and that's from 50,000 feet. Because they've done an amazing job with the philosophy they've had of showing loyalty and building this family culture in Winnipeg, and it's paid off, but it hasn't won them anything. This group has not won a darn thing, and at a certain point, you have to understand that, and you have to be able to tweak it in order to be younger and to be faster.
How much different do you think the stress is between being President's Trophy winners and trying to get through the first round to being outside the Stanley Cup playoff cut line? Because last year was hard on people. It was a grind, and there was a lot of pressure. And now this year, you're not even close to that level.
Isn't it just based on what level of expectation? Like right now in Winnipeg, to get to the playoffs, it would be for some people a bonus, and for another group of people would be a disappointment. There are people want them to be in the draft lottery.
Yes.
But when you have a target on your back as the best team in the regular season, people are gunning for you every day, and the fear of failure in the playoffs after such a successful season, I think would drive you. It would be excruciating. It would be excruciating. Look how close they came in that first round against St. Louis. It would be excruciating to know that didn't work, And they spent so much energy in beating St. Louis, they didn't have anything left for Dallas. They really didn't. So the answer, I think the answer is, once you create that expectation, it's how your group of players can pull and push even more to get through the second round and then the third and then eventually the Stanley Cup final. I mean, you've seen it. You've seen it in across a lot of teams, and you're closer to it now than ever before in what Vegas has done. So it's those lessons that you learn in pushing yourself to know, A, if you have the right people in place, and B, if you can sustain it for a long period of time. Which is what's made the Florida thing, going to 3 consecutive Stanley Cup finals, so impressive.
I can't believe you're at 50,000 feet.
Well,
there's not a lot of planes that even get up that high.
Oh, who says I need that? I don't need a plane.
You that Red Bull guy? Remember the guy that went up there in the balloons and did the free fall?
Yeah, I do remember him. He died.
He did?
Yeah, I think so.
You just wrote the guy off and you don't know?
No, I as I said it, I realized I may be wrong, but I don't think I am. That
was a cool thing. I'll never forget that. Just the whole control tower to the guy jump. Then he just falls off the balloons way up there. The stupidest stunt ever. But
no, the stupidest stunt this year was that guy climbing up the skyscraper in Taipei. By the way, he did die. He died in July of 2025.
Oh, good. I'm glad we got that right.
I'm relieved. I'm sad.
I hadn't heard that.
I'm sad, but I'm relieved. You're laughing. Don't be laughing. The guy passed away.
Well, he'd want it that way. He'd want us to have fun.
I guess.
Are you coming to the Yellow Dog with Chevy and I?
If I'm invited.
I'll let you know. Cousin Greg will set us up with some pops and we'll have a good old catch up. Okay? Yellow Dog Tavern in downtown Winnipeg. My favorite spot.
I'm going to go to the outdoor game in October, so.
Oh, are you?
I'm going to go. Yeah. I've already announced it. I'm going.
Good. Might not even need a coat. So nice there. Remember the last outdoor game was beautiful in Winnipeg. And I like what they're doing with Winnipeg Jets 2.0. We'll jump off this little ledge right now and we'll get into the weekend. Pull the cord, Yogi.
Yogi? I'm not Yogi.
Pull the cord, Yogi. Rangers.
Have a good weekend. Goodbye.
You too. Bye.